When it comes to aging, we employ all kinds of tricks to look younger, from coloring our hair to Botox injections and anti-aging creams. But is there some way to actually slow aging from the inside out? In short, the answer is yes. While how quickly we age is partly determined by our genetics, lifestyle plays a large role too. The great news is that there are plenty of healthy habits you can pick up, from getting active to cooking lean proteins. And in a new study published in Nature Aging, researchers examined how 3 of these habits, omega-3 supplementation, vitamin D supplementation, and a simple home exercise program, could influence aging at the cellular level. Let's take a look at what they found. How was this study conducted? To understand the current study, we should start with some previous research that this team of scientists published back in 2020. Their study, called the Do Health Trial, lasted 3 years and included more than 2,000 generally healthy adults aged 70 or older. As part of the study, participants were randomly assigned vitamin D supplementation, omega-3 supplementation, strength training exercise, and combinations of the 3. DNA was extracted from their blood and stored in a biobank so that researchers could look at aging on a cellular level. For that purpose, researchers use epigenetic clocks, which are tools that estimate a person's biological age based on DNA methylation (DNAM) patterns. Researchers use data and DNAM samples from the Do Health trial for this newer study. The new study included 777 participants, all of whom were Swiss. About 59% of the participants were women, and they had an average age of 75 when the study began. This smaller participant group was slightly different than the larger original group. A third of them had below average blood levels of vitamin D. And as a whole, the smaller group had lower baseline blood levels of omega-3 south compared to the full cohort. What did this study show? According to these researchers, participants who took omega-3 supplements seemed to show the greatest response for DNAM. In other words, their cells weren't aging as quickly as might be expected for their chronological ages. They also state that those who started the study with lower levels of omega-3 exhibited greater epigenetic shifts. This would suggest that omega-3 south may have the ability to not only slow, but to reverse the aging process at the cellular level. In addition, several of the epigenetic clocks used in this study supported additional improvements when all 3 interventions were employed: omega-3 and vitamin D supplementation, and a simple home exercise program. One of the clocks showed a 1% reduction in the pace of aging, while 2 others showed a reduction in aging by about 3 to 4 months. In other words, over the study's 3 years, participants added 3 or 4 months to their lives by supplementing with omega-3 south and vitamin D and exercising. How does this apply to real life? Epigenetics is still a fairly new area of science, but it's a fascinating one. While we tend to focus on the external effects of aging, what we see on the outside starts on the inside. In the study at hand, there was strong evidence for omega-3 supplementation as it related to cellular aging, and even stronger evidence for a combination of omega-3 and vitamin D supplementation plus regular exercise. Does this mean everyone should supplement with these nutrients? Not necessarily. The study authors state that the results support personalized approaches to help slow aging and improve health span. In other words, blanket nutritional recommendations don't work for everyone. While we all need omega-3 south and vitamin D, how we get these nutrients is different for everyone. Some people may not need supplementation for either of these nutrients because they're getting enough omega-3 south in their diets and live in a climate where they get enough sunlight exposure for their bodies to produce vitamin D. Omega-3 south are found in fatty fish like salmon, tuna, sardines, and mackerel, as well as nuts and seeds like walnuts, chia seeds, and flaxseed. And vitamin D is in egg yolks, mushrooms, fortified milks, and fortified orange juice. It's also in salmon, so you can get your omega-3 south and vitamin D in a single delish dinner. Everyone also needs physical activity, but similar to nutrition, how you get it and what you do will depend on your current fitness level, lifestyle, physical abilities, and preferences. For this study, participants exercised for 30 minutes 3 times each week. If that goal seems unapproachable, start small with a walk around the neighborhood in the morning and build up from there. This study suggests that omega-3 south, vitamin D, and exercise influence cellular aging by providing some level of protection, thereby slowing the aging process.